Have you ever wondered if there was a different world full of mystical creatures? Have you ever imagined what flying through the air would feel like? Have you ever wished you could talk to animals? If you have thought about these things, Eragon by Christopher Paolini would be a good book for you. The author of Eragon, Christopher Paolini, started writing books in high school and published Eragon and its Inheritance series after he graduated from high school. Eragon is considered a young adult fiction and fantasy book. In the book Eragon, you will travel through the adventures of a teenage boy named Eragon and his dragon Saphira, who are determined to save their empire, which is under the rule of an evil emperor, Galbatorix. Eragon was once a farm boy until he found an odd rock in the Forbidden Mountains by his village. The rock was actually a dragon egg that was being sought out by the evil Galbatorix. This led Eragon to flee his home with his dragon Saphira to defeat the Empire and find a safe place to live. Before Eragon and Saphira, his dragon, left town, an old storyteller discovered them. The old man was named Bron, who disguised himself as a storyteller but was actually an ex-dragon rider who knew magic. Bron led Eragon's travels and mentored him in magic and sword fighting. Bron made a saddle for Saphira, Eragon's dragon. Saphira talks with Eragon using her mind and his mind. She often teamed up with Eragon to use magic to defeat evil beings. Eragon and Saphira set out on an adventure to find the Farthinder, a safe land that is inside a mountain range. On the way, they faced many challenges, but eventually made it. When Eragon and Saphira finally found refuge in the Farthinder, Galbatorix sent an evil army of people to have war with Eragon. To find out what lies in the future of Eragon and Saphira, you will have to read Eragon. Eragon's desires match the desires of people in today's world. Eragon wants to save the people of his empire from corruption and suffering, just like how people want to help refugees from war zones escape danger so they can live peacefully. Eragon describes his emotion about creatures under Galbatorix's rule who had already cast suffering and death on innocent people. As he faced the Urgles, images flashed in his mind. Dead villagers piled around the spear of an innocent baby who would never grow to adulthood. At the thought of their fate, a burning, fiery power gathered from every part of his body. It was more than desire for justice. It was entire being rebelling against the fact of death, that he would cease to exist. The power grew stronger and stronger until he felt ready to burst from the contained force. Eragon's sheer anger led him to destroy the Urgles that killed the village of people. Because of the complexity of the book, I would recommend Eragon to any teenager who's looking for a book they cannot put down. The book Eragon has a map and a translation guide on the back of the book so readers can learn the language of the elves. I think both girls and boys would enjoy reading Eragon because it has a lot of action and emotion. If you like to adventure and daydream of different worlds, then Eragon would be a good book to read.